Welcome, dear viewers, to a gripping tale of love, betrayal, and the unexpected twists of fate that can lead us to our true destiny. Enjoy the story.
Jonathan Carver wiped his brow as he pushed boxes aside in the attic of his suburban Chicago home. At 38, he still approached projects like this with the same determination he used in his high school history classes, tackling even the dusty corners of life with purpose. "Maybe I'll find a hidden gem up here," he murmured, half joking as he shuffled through a stack of magazines. But as he moved a stack of books, his hand brushed against something unexpected, a worn leather photo album. Setting aside his cleaning supplies, Jonathan sat down, brushing the dust from its cover. The album opened to a spread of childhood photos. Jonathan smiled as he flipped through pictures of his family, memories capturing summers at the lake, holidays filled with laughter, and the familiar faces of his Irish-American relatives. He paused on a recent family portrait, noticing just how much his daughter, Emma, had changed over the past year. "She's grown so much," he mused, tracing her face with his eyes. But then something struck him, a difference so subtle he almost dismissed it. Emma's nose had a slight curve, and her eyes, although blue like his, were almond-shaped. Curious, he flipped further into the album, searching for a photo of himself at her age. The differences were slight, but they stayed on his mind. He turned to a picture of his 12-year-old son, Liam, who seemed to share fewer similarities with him than he remembered. "It's probably nothing," Jonathan told himself, shaking off the feeling of doubt. That night, Jonathan found himself in his study, unable to shake the lingering questions. In a moment of hesitation, he searched for DNA test kits online. He didn't know what he was looking for, or even why he felt the need to check, but he ordered the kits anyway, reasoning it away as just a curiosity. Christina, his wife, startled him as she entered the room. "What are you up to, Han?" she asked with a smile, watching him as he quickly minimized the screen. "Oh, just planning some lessons," he replied, forcing a casual tone. In the weeks that followed, he continued to put the idea of the DNA test out of his mind. But when the results finally arrived, Jonathan opened them with mixed excitement and trepidation. His own results were unsurprising, showing a blend of Irish and other European roots. But Emma and Liam's showed something else, a mix of Mexican heritage. The reality hit him like a blow. Confused and shaken, Jonathan reached out to a private investigator named Frank, determined to find answers. 2 weeks later, Jonathan met Frank in a small coffee shop, his mind racing with the possibilities. "So what exactly are we looking for here?" Frank asked, his voice calm but steady. Jonathan's voice dropped to a whisper. "I need to know if Christina's been unfaithful, and if so, with whom?" Frank nodded, jotting down notes. "Any suspects?" Jonathan shook his head. "No, but I need to know if they're even mine." Days dragged by, every moment filled with anticipation and dread. He studied his children's faces at breakfast, looking for familiar traits, wondering how he could love them any more if they were his, or any less if they weren't. Finally, the call came. "Mr. Carver, I think you should come by the office," Frank said in a serious tone. When Jonathan entered Frank's office, he felt his heart pounding. The investigator spread photos across the desk, each one a glimpse into a hidden life he hadn't known. Christina stood in the arms of another man, a man with dark hair and features that echoed in the faces of Emma and Liam. "His name's Miguel Ramirez," Frank explained, "Christina's boss at the construction company. This relationship, it's been ongoing. For years, actually." Jonathan's world spun. 15 years. That was before they'd even been married. Every family holiday, every anniversary, every moment he'd thought was real now seemed tainted by a lie he couldn't ignore. Overwhelmed, he decided to confide in his family, hoping for support. But when he shared the news with them, his heart shattered further. They knew. His mother and father couldn't meet his eyes as he pieced it together. "We thought it would be best not to tell you," his sister said, her voice wavering. "You seemed so happy." The betrayal was unbearable. His family, the people he trusted most, had chosen to shield him from the truth. Anger and hurt warred within him, but in that same moment he realized something. This betrayal would not define him. He would take action for himself and his children. The anger Jonathan felt in those first days turned into a fierce determination. An opportunity soon arose when his principal informed him of new history curriculum changes, a blatant attempt to whitewash historical events. Fueled by frustration, Jonathan took a stand, organizing teachers, parents, and students to push back against the board's decision. His efforts paid off, and the school community rallied behind him, ultimately preserving the integrity of the curriculum. He'd won a small but significant victory, gaining respect and recognition for his commitment to the truth. At home, Jonathan faced a difficult decision. He met with a divorce attorney and explained the situation, choosing to prioritize his children above all. Though it pained him, he knew leaving was the best choice for everyone involved. Custody was granted to him, and soon he and his children moved to a new town, starting fresh. Jonathan accepted a position as principal at a progressive school, and together, they built a new life filled with honesty and love. As time went on, Jonathan felt compelled to help others dealing with betrayal. He started a support group, meeting weekly with people who'd faced similar struggles. It was in this group that he met Alexandra, a fellow teacher and confidant who understood his pain. Over time, their friendship deepened, and through mutual respect and shared experiences, they found solace in one another. Years later, as life settled into a gentle rhythm, Jonathan received an unexpected call. "John, it's Rebecca, Christina's sister." Her voice trembled. "It's Christina. She passed away last night." The news brought a wave of emotions, mostly sadness for what could have been. Jonathan shared the news with Emma and Liam, and together they chose to attend the funeral, not out of obligation but to honor the woman they'd all once loved. Standing by her grave, Jonathan realized that through all the pain, he had grown. In the end, revenge had never truly brought him peace, but love and resilience had allowed him to rebuild a new, honest life. As they left the cemetery, Alexandra's hand in his, Jonathan looked at his children, feeling immense gratitude. Life had tested him, but he'd emerged stronger, choosing love, forgiveness, and truth over bitterness. And in that moment, he knew he'd finally found peace.